What is up, folks, and welcome back to another video. As you can see today, we are not in our normal environment. We are not in the normal setting. We're not on Distant Lands SMP, and we're not on the Let's Build world. We are in a completely different location. This is my concept build world. This is my super flat world where I basically come to on a regular basis and build all of my little things that you probably will see very familiar to videos that I have posted. So today, what I want to do basically as a 700 subscriber special is go around this world and show you guys what I've built and what has kind of showed up in videos and some stuff that maybe hasn't made the cut in a video. There are going to be quite a few builds in this world that unfortunately just I looked at, I took about 2, 3, 4 different looks at it and I was like, nah, not really making the cut for me, and those builds are just kind of still here. So yeah, what I'd like to do today is just give you a little tour. I will be linking anything that we do go over. I'm going to link the tutorial for it down below. That's if there is a tutorial for it. Some stuff does not have a tutorial. So if that's the case, then, maybe let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see a tutorial for it. There might be some builds I haven't done that you're like, oh, I want to see that in a video. But before we get into it, what I would like to do first is thank you guys for 700 subscribers. That is great. I am so glad that we have met this milestone, and I have been trying so hard to grow this channel's community and get kind of a good small building community going as best as I can. I am a small YouTuber. I am a small social media person. I don't have the most massive of following, but whatever following I have, it makes me happy. It puts a smile on my face. You can't really see it on my Minecraft character, but I'm smiling right now. And if you are new to the channel, maybe you run into this video and you've never heard of me before or done anything, seen anything with me, or maybe you've only seen a couple of larger videos that I've posted and now you're here. I do pretty much every so often build tutorials, SMP videos, and I'll even do stuff like build battle every once in a while. This entire channel is circulated around building in Minecraft, and it is very enjoyable. So if you guys do like this video or like other videos, please be sure to like this video and subscribe down below if you would like to see more. So anyway, where to get started? There's not really a good starting place at all because, well, I kind of started in the middle and I kind of worked my way out in multiple directions, so I don't really know the best place to start. But yeah, maybe we can just kind of start on the side somewhere. All right, so starting over here, this is one of the, I think, the first builds that I built in this world that did end up getting a tutorial. I do have 2 versions of it here, very similar to each other. And this was my little, I think it was a little guild or something like that. I can post the video for this one. This was a very fun build. This was a phase in the channel where I started doing tutorials that were very small. They were a little more simple. I tried to cut back on doing too much detail or over detailing things and keep it just kind of minimalistic and simple, and came up with this little guild design. It's definitely pretty cute. It's pretty neat. And same goes for this little guy over here. This is a trebuchet. Pretty sweet. I think it's trebuchet or catapult. One of the 2 things. Cool little build as well. Very simple, very quick to build, great for tutorials. Yeah, this was kind of, I think, the start of where everything went. Shifting our focus next door here, I know you guys have seen this build before. It did change a little bit once it hit the server, but this was my house on the final season of Half Sun. Definitely a fun build. This was a lot different than my typical build style because it was a little bit more clean cut, and that's what I was going for. But when you go down to the base here, I did have like a little bit more of a shattered brick kind of look, and it was definitely a more roomy build too. I'm typically a more cozy builder, but this was a fun one. I liked putting this together. Jumping across the street too, again, we have my starter base that was from that same season of Half Sun. Pretty cool. That design changed a lot, I think, in the final build, but this was the concept I was going for, was this like have a little workstation area below, and then above having some kind of house area. So yeah, worked pretty well. Here I build a couple little tents. This is where I do little market stands, tents. As you can see, I have the little camping tent here. There is a tutorial for this little guy as well. I was going to do, I think, a tutorial for these guys, but I never made it for some reason. I think it's because they were too similar to each other, or the builds were a little too, I don't know, not interesting enough. I was a little worried about this being kind of too clean cut, too simple, too quick. But if you would like to see a tutorial on something like this, be sure to let me know. All right, this one is a very interesting one, and this one you may still see on the channel because I would love to do a video of it. I just never got around to it, unfortunately. But these are school buses converted into houses in Minecraft. I don't really know why I came up with this. I didn't really technically come up with this idea because people actually do this in real life. You know, you buy an old school bus and people retrofit it to be like a house or like an RV of some sort. So I kind of took those ideas, and I'm a big real life overlander. If you don't know what overlanding is, it's, you know, kind of taking your vehicle and going out and camping and sleeping out of your vehicle out in the wilderness, or, you know, traveling with people. That's kind of what people do with these. They buy these vans or they buy these buses, they retrofit them to be kind of like houses, and they do them up all cool, and they take them across the world and they travel with them. So I wanted to do something like that, and I think I settled on this one being my favorite design so far, but I just couldn't figure out the best way to do a tutorial for it, nor was I convinced that people would like it because it's kind of a niche build. But every time I come on this world and I look at this, I'm convinced people will like this. So you may end up seeing this in the future. If you do really want to see this, let me know in the comments down below because I'd be happy to do a tutorial. We have another Half Sun build here. This was the boat that we built. This was one of the last things I did build. It was a Viking ship at spawn, and I gotta say, this was probably one of the better boats I've built in my time, because I don't know what it was, just the Viking style just kind of hit home with me. And there is supposed to be like a little bear design on the front. I think an unsure bear that was like supposed to be his thing, was this Viking boat. So pretty neat, pretty cool. Definitely love this boat design. Okay, so now we're into a build that never got built or completed. This was meant to be a town hall on that season of Half Sun. Unfortunately, we did cut the season a wee bit short, and this build never hit the market. And as you can see here, it never really got completed on my end in the creative world. But this is just an idea of the process I go through when I build structures like this. So that's actually why I'm showing it off. Is you can see I kind of frame things out, and I try to find a good shape, and then I'll work around the shape. So that's why I was pretty happy with keeping this here. And I don't typically come through and do a clean sweep of anything on this world anyway. So yeah, pretty neat. And here we have another one that unfortunately did not end up making the cut. And I think I had some reasons for that. It was a little over detailed, but my idea for this build was to redo the witch's hut. I wanted to go into a world, find a witch's hut, remove it, and replace it with this kind of witch's hut, which I think is pretty cool. The build itself, honestly, turned out really good. And I'm glad that I'm re-exploring it, because I may, once again mentioning, I may still do this video, but I might wait for the mangrove swamps to come out in 1.19 and do a tutorial around that. Do like a mangrove swamp witch's hut build and use this design a little bit, or at least take some inspiration from it, because it is a pretty cool build. It is actually a pretty cozy build. You can even go up top here, and there's like a little bed and everything. So pretty neat, pretty cool. Very much like these little measly builds that you see here on the outside that are very small, cute, simple. I think this was the shorts phase. This is when I discovered YouTube Shorts, and I started, I think that's actually was a good little pop-off for the channel too, because some of those shorts did get quite a few views. And I just kind of built a couple of these little structures that I was just thinking like, oh, what would people like to see within 35-40 seconds? And it came to like stuff like this. Just simple little builds. This is a little blacksmith here. All pretty sweet. Here is the snow phase. Okay, these were very interesting and fun to build. So I did do a tutorial on one of these. One of these did make the cut. I think it was this little guy right here. I will post the thumbnail overlaid, but pretty much this guy is, they're meant to be just like snow-covered roofs, but instead of doing like just snow, I tried to use quartz stairs to make that little bit of an icicle look, which I think turned out really good. It has that kind of Minecraft style to it. We don't have specifically white stairs or anything, so I had to settle for quartz, which does have a little bit of a border on it, but it still looks pretty cool in my opinion, and I'm glad I did this build because it's a lot different than some of the other stuff that I've done. And here is the miscellaneous house spot. So what this is a couple of these, honestly, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but a couple of these did make the cut, and a couple of these did not. I think we did do a wagon house tutorial. I think we did a short for that as well, but some of these houses never ended up hitting the channel. I think this being one of them here. No particular reason why. I sometimes just come on, I build random smaller, cozier houses, and I just see what hits the hardest, you know, with me. I'm just like, oh, this looks cool. This is a pretty neat one here. I like this one. It's a little bit higher suspended on its foundation, and it's a roomy little guy. You come in here, cozy, but still a pretty good amount of room, and it's got a loft, which is pretty nice. If you want to see a tutorial for something like this, once again, let me know in the comments down below. Here we have the lighthouse that is on, this is currently on the Half Sun server. This one didn't make the, I have a different, yeah, that one is currently on Distant Lands. This one was on Half Sun. Cool build, I must say. It was a little over detailed for being a lighthouse, but I still kind of like the build. It's got this nice towery kind of mage tower look to it, which is pretty nice. As you can see, this is also the same world that I use for my tips and tricks videos. So this is the lamppost video, and I did the pathway designs as a test in front of here as well. So I do come on here and I do try to do tests and all that for my tips and tricks. Perfect spot for it, I'd say. Okay, here's definitely a fun one as well. So over here is where I test some of my wall designs. Now, wall designs I am very picky about. So whether I'm selective on what kind of wall I'm using. So this was the wall that is actually currently on Distant Lands. And this was the original design that I came up with when I was trying to concept things out. And somehow I came up with this. It is the most awful thing I have ever built, and it's absolutely just horrible. The fact that I got to this far in this build, I remember stepping back, looking at it, and just being, why did I build this? What direction was I going with this? And then I blew this away. I restarted it from scratch, came up with this. This is a billion times better. Very happy I started fresh and just redid it. And here's where I did my gradients tutorial. As you can see here, I have my little light to dark scale for working with certain kinds of blocks. This is my personal scale. I didn't really pull this from anywhere. And then I kind of use that in these different builds. So this one's kind of a bland one. This one's got a little more detail going on. And this one's fully detailed up, which looks pretty neat. This is a good... I would definitely go watch this video. It's a good idea to make your builds look a little bit sweeter. And here we rotate back around to the Lush. This was the Lush Cave time-lapse build. I would love to do more time-lapses on the channel. I just noticed they don't pick up as much traction, so I tend to stray away from them. But time-lapses are super fun. If you guys, I know this video did pretty well. If you guys want to see more time-lapse videos, once again, let me know in the comments down below. I would be happy to deliver upon more time lapses because they are fun to put together. And here we have my attempt at doing a modern house. I tend to just ignore this. I don't know why I even tried. I'm definitely not a modern builder. I've never been a modern builder, and for some reason my brain was like, this is cool. We like this. No, it's pretty awful. Ignore it. Ignore that one too. That's just pure trash. All right, now scooching a little bit more to the center of the builds here. As you can see, we got a couple miscellaneous things laying around. This was my way updated log cabin tutorial. I tend to do a log cabin tutorial probably once a year. I try to update it, but this one I tried to keep to the heritage of my original video, my original log cabin tutorial, and just try to update it and make it look a little sweeter, a little neater. And I mean, I can definitely say it did turn out a little bit better than my original log cabin, but like I said, I kept the heritage in there a little bit. You can definitely see similarities between both the builds. Pretty neat. I like this build. It's actually pretty cozy on the inside too if you go in there. Look how roomy and just nice this is. So nice. So this is a statue I built. I was just kind of testing things. I think it turned out better on the actual server, but this statue in concept did end up getting used on the first season. It was Half Sun Reborn. It was on the little cliff area. That's when we used an amplified world to do our SMP, and it was a bit messy from time to time. Doing amplified, I wouldn't do it again because it's just a bit much, but definitely a fun season. Definitely a fun little build for sure. I think we had the beacon in here or something like that. Pretty cool. Ah, the wood shop. I remember I had a name for this wood shop, and it was on the second season of Half Sun. This was Half Sun Chapter 2, and I just had this little cozy shop, you know, pretty simple as is. This was like the payment room and so on and so forth. And then if you look over to the side here, you have this like little log with an axe sticking out of it. I thought I was clever. I don't know. A couple more micro builds over here. These were good for shorts. I think this was my attempt at making a really neat looking, super small, like 1x1 space house. Which if you come in here, you know, you got your campfires, you got your stove, your crafting table, barrels for storage that kind of make up the frame of it. It's a strange one. It's even got a little chimney on the back of it and everything. I thought the build was pretty neat, but I don't really build in this style, so it kind of is what it is. And then here's a little well that I built, which a little bit of teaser. I think one of my next tips and tricks videos is going to be how to build a couple different kinds of wells. You know, that's what we're getting into now. We'll do a couple different wells. So we'll see what happens, but this design may make a return. I think it is currently a short, though, so you can go check out the short if you're interested. Ah, yes, the walls from Half Sun Chapter 2. Was super happy with these. I loved the way this turned out. Definitely one of my favorite wall designs I've ever built. It's just pretty sweet. It's pretty neat. It's got a good amount of detail without being over the top, and I love the color palette I used behind all the wood there. I just think it looks pretty snazzy. I do also use this world to test out redstone contraptions. As you can see, this is almost the little redstone corner here. I have a sugarcane farm, I have my auto smeltery thing, and I have the automatic sheep farm here too. Looks like I had a melon farm as well. I don't know if this ever ended up working. Probably doesn't work now because I think I broke it, but I do some stuff like this on here just to kind of fill in the space. Diagonal builds. Definitely not my first skill, but this build turned out pretty well. This was also Half Sun Chapter 2 with a little fishing village, and I just wanted to give it a go. I was like, let's do one diagonal build, and you know what? It did turn out pretty well. It fit the scene pretty good, and I had a little corner where it fit. I would do more diagonal builds. I'd even do a tutorial on diagonal builds if I was better at doing them. I just don't do them too often. And just getting, you know, a couple of these last little ones out of the way. Ignore that in the background there. That is a, what was this? That was, I think, me attempting to make like a poster. Yeah, I actually forgot that it's even over there. This is, I think, an attempt for me to make a poster for Half Sun, and I was gonna use like a map for it. And I think I kind of just gave up on it pretty early on. But yeah, got a couple of the last builds here. We got the windmill. Did a little scarecrow short, which was pretty neat, and the little wagon house. Love the way this wagon house turned out. By the way, I thought that was a really neat build. We do have a barn over here that turned out cool. We did a little tutorial for that one. And these are actually all tutorial houses, except for this little guy on the end here. I don't think this one ever made the cut. But all of these guys, I think, did end up in a video. This particular one did very, very well. Very happy with the support I got on this video. I think it's at 2,500 views now, give or take. Very happy. And then following this one came this guy here, which I think also did pretty well. So yeah, you guys seem to love little cottage videos, and I appreciate that because I like making little cottage videos. All right, well, you know what? I don't want to drag this video on too long. I'm sure you guys have other things you need to do. But if you guys did enjoy, or if there's something you saw that you're curious about, I don't know, screenshot it and send it to me on Twitter. Definitely go follow me on Twitter if you want the latest updates on videos I'm working on, or little teasers with screenshots on, you know, things that were being worked on altogether. Send me a screenshot there and I can tell you the story behind it, or if there's something that caught your eye that you want a tutorial on, let me know over there, or let me know in the comments down below. But for now, thank you guys once again for 700 subscribers. Let's go on the road to 800 now, and then hopefully 1,000 soon enough. We're only like halfway through the year. We went from like 520 subs to 700 and I think like less than a couple months. So who knows? Maybe we can do, maybe we'll go for 1,000 by the end of the year. We'll see. But that's for another day. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all of those wonderful things. And I will see you guys in the next one.